let's see what is going to happen as the drivers prepare to do battle at Mount Panorama. And here is how the grid lines up ahead of the 22-lap strong race. Pole position, Kanata Kawakami for Lexus, put in a great lap time right at the end of the session. His compatriot and former world champion Takuma Miyazono for Subaru is alongside. Then it's Ryota Kokubun for Mazda heading row 2 with Nabatani for company. Next up is Tomoaki Yamanaka, a stalwart of the championship in the Toyota. He's got Lucas Pinelli in the Mercedes AMG for company. Then Saya Suzuki in the BMW M6 with Sasaki in the Genesis alongside. Next up is Sato in the Audi. Not a particularly brilliant qualifying for them, but the big shock is Ferrari. Winners last time out, only 10th on the grid for this one. And championship leaders Porsche down in 11th place with Arthur Mosso making a mistake on his lap. Gotto completes the 12-driver strong field. As we said, 3 different types of tyre compound available to the drivers. Kanata Kawakami here, Jimmy, going on the soft early. Seems like he wants to get away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, that is the strategy if you're out front. Use the soft, use that clean air and just try and drive into it. The thing is, because no one's challenging him on that stint, no one's challenging him on the soft tyre there, that's going to be, he's going to be very happy to see that, because it means he can just use that tyre to the best of its ability. Miyazono, the opposite strategy behind for Team Subaru, going for that hard tyre, as does Kokubun. So they're going to be the cork in the bottle for the guys in the mediums behind on that first lap over the mountain.
Certainly are. So coming through Murray's corner, the final turn of this Mount Panorama circuit, drivers are in place. There's Arthur Mosso. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders to try and hold on to Porsche for their championship lead. We're about ready to go racing then, as the grand final of the Manufacturers' Cup is about to go green here at Mount Panorama. Action is about to begin. World Series 3 here in Tokyo is underway. Kawakami leads the field down towards the first corner, followed by Miyazono and Kokubun. Through Hell Corner we go. On the run, up the mountain straight and in towards the mountain section we go for the first timer. Start there, of course, which is spreading the field out courtesy of the rolling start, meaning that we shouldn't see too much action in the first couple of corners, but as we come over the crest of the hill, it begins to tighten up as we head through in towards Griffin's Bend. That's where we'll see drivers getting very close to one another and maybe trying to launch a move before we go into the one-at-a-time section.
Say that already. Look at the gap between Kawakami and Kokubun, who's got through past Miyazono. They're really struggling for speed on that first lap, dropping down from P2 to P4. Kokubun out in front now on that hard tyre. Nabatani, the first of the medium runners, eager to get through as well. But look at the gap, 2 seconds already to Kawakami out front. This is exactly what he wanted.
Amazing start there from Kanata Kawakami. You can see here Kokubun, he's going to be a bit of a cork in the bottle. Nabatani's on the medium tyres, so though they're not the fastest compound, they will be that bit quicker than Kokubun. Miyazono also on the hard tyres, struggling to get them up to temperature in the first few corners. Keep an eye out also for Yamanaka in the Toyota Supra. There is Kawakami pulling up nearly 3 seconds by not even the end of the first lap. Through the Forest Elbow we go and down the Conrod Straight for the first time, and you can see how nose to tail it is throughout the rest of the field. Down the Conrod Straight we go. This is where we'll see the slipstream coming into effect, and where we should see the medium shot runners breezing past the hard shot runners. Here is Yamanaka on the back of Miyazono. That Subaru's not ever been particularly quick in a straight line. Miyazono in the Toyota draws alongside his compatriot and goes through into 4th position before we even reach the end of the straight and in towards the chase. Oh, and wide there as well for the Honda of Nabatani. Kokubun ready to try and take profit of it, but Nabatani just about manages to hold firm in second for now.
4 seconds is a gap on lap 1. Kawakami's just gone, right, mate, I'm going to win this here. He's just left the field behind. Obviously, long race yet to go, but that's about as good a start as you can have, I think. Meanwhile, the battle for second and the rest of the hard and medium runners are pretty much all stuck together as we come onto Mountain Straight for the second time now. This is where we get to see the straight line speed of the cars. I mean, take a drink for every time we said that Subarus are going to struggle in a straight line, because that's going to be a big factor in this race.
It certainly is, and I tell you what, not a particularly brilliant start for the likes of Mosso and Hashiba. They're still 10th and 11th as Yamanaka breezes past Miyazono heading in towards Griffin's Bend.
What can you do?
No, absolutely nothing. That's it. He's just a sitting duck at this point, isn't he? So Kawakami here, he's trying to break away from the rest of the field, isn't he? Well, he's already done that, 4.1 seconds. I think he's trying to channel his inner Igor Fraga. If you remember, what Igor loves to do is lead from the front, doesn't he? Doesn't like to get bothered by anything behind. And, well, he's clear as makes no difference from the rest of the field. He's not going to be bothered at all, is he?
Yeah, we had Igor Fraga here at our lovely venue, hyping up Kawakami for the race up on stage. So maybe those words helping out a little bit, of course. Here are drivers that you see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen soaring away at the wheel. It's hard work, this, on the sim. You wouldn't think it is, but you can really work up a sweat trying to hustle these cars over the mountain here as they'll come down one at a time. A replay now. This is Copenhagen and Namatani. I think this is the overtake we saw earlier, but it seemed a bit rough from the replay. Let's see it again. He was through there, but I think he overshot it, as you said. They went a bit wide. Copenhagen tried to come back, and it's like they just about avoided contact there. Very nice, clean driving, but Namatani sending it like a ball into that left hand.
Yeah, fantastic overtake from Namatani to be able to hold that one going through that chicane. You can see meanwhile further back, as I said, Mosso and Nishima not making the progress that they would have wanted to. I wonder, and I'm not a strategist or a racing driver by any stretch of the imagination compared to these drivers, but if you're looking at Mosso and Nishima, surely I would have thought that the sensible way would be to get onto a quicker compound tyre and go and make as much progress up through the field as you can, as we see Miyazono getting off the hard tyre at the end of lap 3.
Well, Miyazono they're opting, as you say, just to box and get off that tyre. It's always been the way in these events that the hard tyre is kind of just lava. You don't want to be on it at all. But it's one of those things where you want to try and do that in a good spot in the race. So when you do go onto a fast compound tyre, we're about to see what Miyazono and Suzuki are going to bolt on a fresh set of Michelin tyres. Not quite sure what the compound's going to be just yet. Still waiting for them to make their way to that pit box. There is Miyazono. So what's he gone for? Soft tyres. Okay, that is an interesting strategy. So what he's done there is giving himself a massive amount of space. So there's no one in front of him now. And now he can just try and hot lap because he knows he's racing other cars. They get in the draft. He can't keep them behind him. So he's going to try and basically gain time.
That's going to worry too much about Suzuki as well, because Suzuki, though he's come out relatively close to him on circuit, he's on the medium compound of time. Now let's have a look here at Copeland versus Yamanaka up the mountain straight. This is for third position then, so side by side these two drivers going. Yamanaka just breezing past once again, and also Benelli getting overtaken there by the Audi Sato, so that's up to fifth position as well. Now the field beginning to spread out a little bit. You can see the medium shot runners breaking away a little bit from the hard shot runners, aside from Copeland, who's still got Sato all over his rear wing.
Yeah, good fight here, fourth place between Mazda and Audi. Interesting, the gap from Kawakami. Oh, Sato much quicker on exit there, runs into the back of Copeland. That's about as rude a hurry up as you can get there from the Audi driver, and now they're going to be drafting down the straight. That look at the bump I saw down there. Sure, looks like they're maybe using the old stock car tactics there, trying to gain a bit of time on the cars in front. Will Sato go from who they go? So look at the mirror too, but Benelli's there. So up the inside goes Sato, up into fourth place. Does he yet? Copeland runs up and wide. Can Benelli take advantage of that? They're now just about side by side. I think the Copeland comes out ahead, but that's what happens if the racing is so close. If you lose one position, you end up losing another one just because you're offline. Copeland there deciding, you know what, I've had enough of hard tyres, I'm coming into the pit lane. But what I was going to say before all that started is the gap in the front stopped growing. And Namatani there, who was sort of giving it all that in qualifying, is now on his medium compound tyre and matching Kawakami on lap time. Well, about 2-3 tenths slower a lap. To be honest, that isn't so bad.
No, normally you'd expect the gap to be about 1.2 seconds or so between the different compounds of tyres. So interesting to see there for Kawakami versus Namatani. We'll keep an eye on that. Cockman's off the hard tyre. He goes on to the mediums then for his little stint. Giotto also coming into the box in the Chevy Corvette from the hards, likewise onto the mediums. Now Cockman ahead there of Saya Suzuki. That's pretty important, but he's going to be able to retain that position as he comes up the mountain straight in towards Griffin's Bend, because this could upset Cockman's race here. He wants to try and run in clear air. Down the straight we go. Suzuki's on the outside. He's got the slipstream and he's got the place really easily there, and that's not what Cockman needed. The crucial thing when you're coming out of the pit lane, you're trying to get the undercut compared to some of the other drivers. You need clear air. You don't need to be battling with something that's out of position compared to you, and that is going to really put a spanner in the works for Cockman and Mazda.
Yeah, this is what we kind of meant about pitting at the right times. Here's Mosso and Hashima, our current first and third place in the standings at the moment. They're going side by side, just about even things there. Championship standings, that is a similar name to the race at the moment, but a drag race all the way down Mountain Straight. So this is great to watch for these guys, and great battling, because of course if they are swapping positions like this every corner, this is costing a little bit of time. Also does go up the inside there finally of Hashima, but very close these guys.
Yep, and then getting the better of the Ferrari driver. Here is Kawakami still continuing on. having a look at the sector times, they're looking pretty okay still, as it stands for now. He's just, as we said earlier on, driving a nice clean race, the gap up to nearly 6 seconds, and you can see there a look at the tyre wear as well. His front significantly more worn than the likes of Nabatani, Yamanaka and Sato on the medium tyres who haven't pitted.
He hit the car from the corner, the tyres were screeching. And actually, he was slower through the last sector than both Nabatani and Yamanaka behind on the medium compound tyres. So I think he's already, to say, Tom, he's really worn those fronts. We heard him actually just before going to this race with Sasha saying he's a bit nervous about tyre wear in this car. And we're seeing that already. They're struggling, that front end, really pushing on. So understeer, if you're unfamiliar, basically, think about it if you're about to hit a wall. If the front hits the wall first, it's understeer. If the rear hits the wall first, it's oversteer. And at the moment, the front is really pushing out. It can't let the car turn as much as it wants it to. And those tyres are screeching in protest. And it's only going to get worse as the tyres get more worn.
Yeah, if you want to sort of more literal example of that, go to a supermarket, fill up your shopping trolley, right at the front end, and then try and turn it. That's understeer for you. Kawakami on board with him. The gap coming down to just under 5.5 seconds. It's still a nice comfortable pushing for him. He's just got to drive as cleanly as he possibly can, try to eke these soft tyres out for as long as is viable. He doesn't want to stay on it forever because obviously they're going to fall off the cliff at some point. That performance is going to go, and if he's on them, he's going to be a sitting duck later on in the race. You've got to time this tyre change to perfection, and Kawakami, you can see him there nice and smooth on the steering, just one solid movement going into the corners, not trying to soar away at the wheel, and just trying to keep that gap at a constant. So this is what we usually see in these GT World Series races. It starts off pretty exciting. We get different drivers on different strategies all sort of working themselves out. Then we get a little bit of a lull sort of in the middle stages, and then once it all works out with the strategy later on, you've got different drivers on different tyres who have pitted at different times. That's when the race will really begin to come alive. I don't think Kawakami's going to be boxing on this lap or indeed the next lap, but it's certainly going to be on his radar before too long.
Interesting. Nabatani is kind of matching Kawakami in the sector, so he can have that gap. Here is Suzuki in the BMW trying to come past Kokumin. Of course, both these guys have hit already, and Kokumin's decision a bit early, maybe not the best one for him. He's overtaken in a straight line. Yeah, that's a re-overtake as well. We saw an overtake there, coming in a couple of laps ago. Kokumin managed to get ahead of Suzuki, and then Suzuki's got ahead of him in turn again. So Kokumin there now 1.5 seconds behind Suzuki. Crucially, he's out of the slipstream range. We've got Benelli for AMG, Sasaki for Genesis, and Mishima for Ferrari, all in the pit lane then here on lap 6. So second and third both lapped quicker than first place on the last lap. So those medium tyres now are starting to come into their own. The soft tyres start to wear. So in comes Benelli going onto that soft compounder tyre now. Let's see what he can do in this stint. Comes out in traffic behind. I think that was Kokumin and Suzuki. So he's going to drive up to the back of these guys and have to get by on circuit. So not ideal for Benelli, but we'll see if he can make the best of it. Watch Kawakami come over the mountain for the 6th time. Those front tyres now really starting to get to the danger zone, especially down here. You do not want those front tyres, that front right tyre in particular, just looking down there to 24%. And that for a corner like this, Forest Elbow coming through here, that front right tyre is pushing on. You're just trying not to put the car into the wall on the outside. That's going to get tougher and tougher. I won't be surprised if we see him pit very soon.
Yeah, I wondered if it would be actually in the this lap, come to think of it. I said earlier on, I didn't think it would be, but to be honest, the tyre wear has really gone down quite significantly with Tanaka Kawakami here, and I'm sure he's going to be thinking about that either this lap, if not the very next lap for the Japanese drivers. And coming through into the chicane we go. Now, does Kawakami box at the end of this one? Just to remind you, Lexus second in the point standings, 2 points behind Porsche. Points awarded for the top 6 drivers. Kawakami decides to come in then into the pits. A bit of a late call there for him, but all is fair and okay. They practiced these pit entries all day. And Kawakami then, where does he go now in terms of strategy? Does he go to the hard tyre for this middle stint, or does he try to go on to the medium tyre and try to weather the storm a little bit? Either way, he's going to lose the lead here. Nabatani and Yamanaka, who are yet to pit in this race, continue on, and they will take over at the front of this one. Kawakami in the box. We still wait for the decision on where he's going in terms of his tyre strategies. He comes in for a new set of Michelin tyres on his car. Goes to the medium tyre then for the middle stint. That seems quite sensible for him. So he's going to try and go for a long middle stint here in this race and then run the hard tyres at the very end of this one. The thing is, what this does now then effectively kind of locks in the strategy for the likes of Nabatani and Yamanaka, because they need to be on the soft tyre at the end, because their nearest competitor in theory is going to be on the slowest compound.
So interestingly, Miyazono, of course, who pitted earlier on for those soft tyres a bit earlier in the race, fastest man on the track at the moment, also has the fastest lap of anyone at 2:06. Very impressive in race trim with that fuel in the car. It's now 5 seconds behind Kawakami on the road and is on the faster tyre. For now, though, of course, the advantage this Subaru has being a little bit lighter than the other cars out there. It does go through the tyres a little bit slower than the other cars out there. So you might wonder, oh, it's not fair, this car's slow in a straight line, but it's fast in other parts of the circuit, which is what makes the manufacturer series so unique. So many different brands, different approaches to going fast, and they're all using, of course, our balanced performance system, have a very similar lap time. So it's always very, very cool to watch as we get an awesome onboard shot with Miyazono. I mean, surely, if you're unfamiliar, one of the Gran Turismo greats is Takuma Miyazono, and with Team Subaru as well, been a long-time Subaru driver, taking this manufacturer to the series win a couple of times in the past as well. I wouldn't want anyone else's car. I think maybe Mikazel. Come back, Mick, we miss you.
Don't forget about the QR code on your screen at the moment as well for more information about drivers if you want to find out a little bit more about the men behind the wheel of the cars at the moment. I was trying to work out a way of doing that.
That would be a great opportunity. That would be an amazing opportunity.
Certainly would. So here is Miyazono then. Soft tyres for him. Of course, they're going to wear that a little bit quicker. Started this one, as you can see, on the hard compound, but he's running the softs in this middle stint of the race. He's in a nice bit of clear air at the moment. The gap between himself and Kawakami pretty stable as it stands for now, but Miyazono will be starting to eat into that before long.
Let's have a look at the lap times. Yeah, 2:1.3, 2:1 last time out, because Kawakami with the box 2:3.7. So the gap has is stabilised around 5 seconds between the two. So I think Kawakami is using that medium tyre, and Miyazono is coming to the end of the life. And let's look at the background there, as scary to see, isn't it, when you're in a little Subaru trying to make your way down the straight, lots of cars in the background. Meanwhile, Namatani still leading, 3 seconds over Yamanaki, Kokuban and Suzuki. This battle continuing, apparently. Kokuban goes back past Suzuki in the Mazda. They're being clever about it, though. They're doing it on the straights, they aren't fighting in the corners. These guys, they know how to race each other, they know how to be quick over a race distance. One is different being quick over a single lap than over a race. And these guys have raced together for many, many years, so definitely a little bit of collusion there between the two, I'd say, but I imagine that will fade away as the laps fall down to the end.
Yeah, pretty good show of the crowd. They are here so far, aren't Kokuban and Suzuki as it stands for now. Keep an eye out for Benelli because he's not far down the road from these two drivers as well. You can see him there just flashing past the screen in the Mercedes-AMG. 2 seconds now is the gap between himself and the two Japanese drivers, but also Benelli is on that softer, quicker compound time. So you can see how Cochran sets this one up, so coming out of L corner, and Suzuki then a bit wide onto the curve. Cochran, of course, with the advantage of the slipstream as well. Falls behind the BMW, falls towards the right-hand side of the BMW, and fast past the BMW quite nicely for Cochran.
Spectacular overtake, but it works. If it works, it works.
The good thing is they're not costing each other too much time, compared to the likes of Benelli, who will be bearing down on them, as we said before, too long. Interestingly now, one of the top three who haven't pitted, Sato, comes in on the medium tyre. I'm fairly sure he's going to have to go onto the hard tyre and then run the softs at the end of this race if he wants a chance at the podium. I could be wrong.
Seems early. The rear tyre's failing a little bit on that Audi, which I'm not surprised. I've heard that car isn't kind to its rear tyres, but let's go back to Suzuki and Kokuban. I mean, they're not crossing each other time, they're gaining each other time. They're using that slipstream to just slingshot past each other, gaining a few extra kph per straight if they were describing it on their own. So watch out for these guys. This might be a bit of an interesting strategy. Sato there going on to that soft compound from the out. Let's see if it can keep those tyres alive for a couple of laps. Does Miyazono go for one more lap on those soft tyres? We'll find out as Sato's come out just behind Suzuki, who goes up into 8th place for Team Genesis, and that is not what Sato wanted there. He wanted to be ahead.
No, absolutely not. He wanted to be on the soft tyre, as you said, but the problem is it's so much one at a time as you come up through the mountain. You just have to sit behind him unless you dive to the inside. Oh. There's a bit of contact there, and Sato just backs off the throttle and allows Sasaki to hold on to 8th place for now. It's a fair old dive bomb going through the left-hander. You don't make many clean overtakes going through that part of the lap, and it's a little bit of dance partner. Sato not able to make that move stick, but now he's just hemorrhaging time, and this could prove to be quite costly for him if he just loses more compared to Sasaki, and then of course relative to the other drivers who he was close to on the circuit before his pit stop.
Stewart's having a look at that as to do with any contact, but I don't think it's going to be, oh my word, Sasaki there getting it all wrong, and we're going to see an overtake down towards front, but we're not. Sato having to wait a little bit longer now, and this is what Sato was just, he was scared of this, getting stuck behind the guy in front on worn tyres who's just trying to keep it together and just crossing your time. It's so frustrating when the driver behind there, but that's what you've got to do. That's racing, and sometimes using worn tyres in this way is just as effective as using your tyres when they're Sato now putting alongside. I didn't think this was too much opposition there from Sasaki. Sato up into P8, but that was a slow out lap there for the Audi driver.
Nice good overtake there from Sato then, as he makes the position, goes up into 8th. Proved wrong in terms of the strategy as well, so he went on to the soft tyre. I thought he was going to get to the hards. Proved what I know, absolutely nothing at all.
We all knew that.
Takuma Miyazono, 6th position for him as he comes into the pit lane then from the soft compound of tyre. Let's see which way he is going to go. He's going to run the hard tyre, just to remind you. So presumably this will be these mediums right to the end of this race. As we said, the crucial thing for him is he needs a nice bit of clear air. He's into the box at the moment. Interestingly, Shiba and Mosso not far adrift of Sasaki for 8th position. Just to remind you, points on offer for the top 6 finishers in this race at the moment. Given the fact that they are 1st and 3rd in the championship for Porsche and Ferrari respectively, they will not be scoring any points so far here tonight.
We'll see. Obviously, the race has still got 12 laps to go. Miyazono, I think, is strategy-wise, is playing this very well. I mean, he's putting himself in clean air, and he will be able to see that Nabatani and Yamanaka in heavier cars have managed to do 10 laps. It will be 11 laps next time by on this medium compound tyre. This Subaru, which is a bit better on its tyres, will be able to go longer than that. So yeah, medium to the end now for Miyazono. And again, it's that mini-map on the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's the gap he's got to the rest of the field. So we can just drive into that gap now, try and get those laps, basically it's qualifying laps now for Miyazono for the rest of the race, if he has any chance of catching the leaders. Kawakami and Nabatani at the front there, the ones we're sort of watching for once the pit stops are all said and done. But interestingly, we still have 2 drivers who haven't been picked.
Yep, Nabatani and Yamanaka really eking out those medium tyres, aren't they? They want to go for as long as they possibly can. So presumably they're going to either go onto the softs and run for as long as they can on those and then do a really short stint on the hards at the end of the race, or they're going to go onto the hards in the middle and then go onto the softs at the end. Let's wait and see what will happen for those who run. Of course, you're going to come into the box as well. Look at the tyre wear. They're pretty warm, but they're not too bad.
Let's have a look at Miyazono there, checking out the big screen and seeing what everyone else is doing there. That's one of the advantages of being here, of course. You can just have a quick look up to the monitor and go, oh, right, it's on that tyre, is he? Oh, he's got that tyre wear, is he? I wonder how he's doing. But Nabatani, I've got to say, for someone who is relatively unknown to us, doing a great job so far. I mean, those rear tyres looking a little bit worn, especially that rear right tyre, which will be under load right now, coming through the cutting. They're doing a great job, very mature drive so far, but only half the race down at the moment.
Yeah, Suki Nabatani in the Honda, doing a fantastic job, as we said, podium for that team in Montreal, if you remember, for the first World Series event of the year a few months ago. An opportunity here for Honda to try and capitalise on their home support here tonight in Tokyo. So I just love this onboard shot, it's so fantastic. The eye of the needle down from this section of the circuit. Is this one of your bucket list tracks?
Yeah, I love to. Of course, one of our German commentators, Mr. Florian Strauss, won this race back for us 12 hours. But he never talks about that, actually. But yeah, I would love to race it, of course. A reminder as well, we only have 7 different matches our German commentators. I mean, English broadcast is best, we know that. But if you want to see what mediocrity looks like, you check out the broadcast.
Checks in the post today now, I'm sure. Happy about that. So we're at the halfway stage then of this race, and it's going to come alive, I'm sure, towards the very end of this one. So Nabatani, Yamanaka, the only 2 drivers left to pit at this one. Everybody else, as you can see, has made at least 1 pit stop. Benelli and Sato's tyres doing all right so far, but Nabatani does come into the pit lane at the end of the halfway stage, and Yamanaka also following suit here as well. So what Yamanaka needs, he needs a really good middle stint. Let's see whether these 2 will diverge in terms of their strategy, and crucially, where is Kawakami going to emerge? He's surely going to end up in the lead, because was it 25 seconds, isn't it, for the pit stop, and he was 15 seconds behind. So nice and easy there for Kanata Kawakami. And I think, if anything, he'll be extending that advantage. So this is proving to be quite nice for Kawakami. But just to remind you, he does have to run another set of tyres, the hard tyres, the slowest competent tyres, right at the end of this race, which possibly some other drivers will not have to do. Navatani goes soft for the middle stints of this one. Yamanaka also following the same strategy. So all the drivers there, despite the fact they've started on different competent tyre, hang on a minute, here's Kokkerman, who's managed to drag alongside Navatani then and goes through into second position.
What a nightmare for Navatani. That's, again, same thing. He does not want any traffic, and just that could be absolutely luring that. Only a 10th difference there, which is a bit quicker on the in-lap. That wouldn't have happened. But again, now he's got to try and pass him on the mountain. But interestingly, the gap before any pit stops is about 5 seconds. It's now 10 seconds to Kawakami in the lead. So really opened it up.
Look at Benelli here as well. He's having a really good bend from Tomoaki Yamanaka, both on the soft and compound tyre. But Benelli's tyre significantly more warm. Going to see him earlier than the Japanese driver. Samurai, as he's known by our Italian commentators. Oh, it's the wall there for Benelli. That's going to really put him on the back foot. Possibly leaving under threat here from Yamanaka, who's got great traction and great momentum. Has he got the opportunity to use it, though? It's going to be one at a time through here, surely. And he's going to have to bide his time. Sato's there ready in the background to try and take profit of it as we come down through in towards the forest elbow. All of that momentum, but no room to use it there for Tomoaki Yamanaka down through the left-hander. And this is going to be a case of when and not if for Benelli to be losing possibly not one, maybe two positions. Down the Conrod straight we go. Yamanaka has got the slip string. He'll have the overspeed here. Benelli's car's quick in a straight line, but I don't think it's going to be any match for the newer soft shod Yamanaka, who pulls alongside down the Conrod straight in towards that last right of the chase. Benelli loses 5th place. Yamanaka's up a position there as well, and Sato is still lurking in the background, ready to take advantage.
He did well to keep him there, but it's got to be a pit stop now for Benelli, surely. Into the pits he comes.
I thought he was diving to the inside there.
Mega lunge there. No, not quite coming in the box there. I think it's about time to get off those tyres. So soft tyres coming off that car. We'll let you know what he goes on to once he pits. Let you know what he goes on to once he pits. Gets up to the stall. So here is the replay of, I think this is Navatani on Kokkerman. Around the outside, got the inside now for the left-hander, easier to take. The Kokkerman also, I think, understands that right now this isn't the fight he could be in. Drop behind, try and get pulled on a little bit, save that time that way. But a clever move there by Kokkerman, I think, to let that one go.
I'll tell you what, though, was Kokkerman and the likes of Yamanaka not too far apart from one another actually on track as well. Suzuki in the middle of those two drivers, and Yamanaka on the quick soft compound tyre, new soft compound tyres compared to the medium shod Suzuki and Kokkerman at the moment. So he's going to be slowly creeping onto the back of them. He's already taken half a second out of those drivers on this lap alone in the first sector.
Yeah, so it just shows the difference that the tyre advantage gives you around it. Of course, a little bit of skill in there as well, but the tyres do play a big part of that. Here is Kokkerman, very experienced driver at his light events. He was actually at, I think he won the 2018 Nations Cup event. Back when it was done a little bit differently back then, and remember there thinking, man, this guy's quick, and ever since then he's always in the top 5, always there or thereabouts, and with Mazda is no different. On board with Yamanaka now. I've not seen him for a while, have we? Good to see him back.
It is good to see him back. He's always a driver who provides a lot of entertainment for us. You can see him giving you a wave down there at the bottom left-hand corner of his screen. He's driving nice and calm at the moment, and he looks to be in a position to count on the drivers in front of him before too long here. So let's keep an eye on Yamanaka's progress in the middle stages of this race. This is the thing for the likes of Yamanaka and Kawakami, etc. They've got so much experience here. They've been in this position a good few times. They know how to handle pressure and races like this. If you look at some of the new drivers on the international stage, the likes of Shima, Goto, etc., they don't have the relative experience compared to those around them, and that could prove to be to their detriment in the live event environment that we have here.
It's different. We say every time we do this, it's different racing in front of the big crowd, having two of my English guys talk over top of your racing. That's being and then being in your sort of comfortable space when you're driving it. Look at the speed difference here. Will we see a move from Yamanaka? Yeah, he's going for it straight away. No time lost there for Yamanaka, up into P4, and now he goes onto the back of Kokuma, but I think Suzuki let that happen. In the background though, Sato started to gain as well. I was going to say he did the fastest lap until just then. Yamanaka setting the fastest lap of the race last time around, a 2-minute .2. That was faster than some people's qualifying lap.
Amazing job from Tomoaki Yamanaka. Suzuki just also hitting it into the wall, going through the left-hander of the cutting as well. Just a bit of a kiss there for him. And Kokuma now with a face full, or a rear view mirror full, I should say, rather, of Tomoaki Yamanaka. And again, this is a case of when and not if. You can't really make a move going through here, but we have seen Yamanaka very close. You can see him right on the ragged edge of adhesion through Boris Elbow we go, and down the back straight, and Yamanaka is shortening a breeze past the Mazda. That Mazda pretty handy in a straight line with his rotary wankel engine. Don't ask me to say that one again. Down this straight we go though. Yamanaka's going to pull to the inside. Kokuma's not going to try and defend this one too much, I don't think. As Yamanaka, different strategy, newer tyres, and indeed the Japanese driver in the Toyota up through ahead of Kokuma in the Mazda.
Yeah, pretty nice move there. I think he made the right choice to do it there and not go for a London Forest Elbow. I think he could have made the move there, but he had the draft, and that would have gained him a bit of time as well, although he lost a bit for the end. But anyway, Yamanaka turning into a real contender in this race.
When you look at the lap times here with Kawakami, he was some 2 seconds slower a couple of times around. Whether he made a mistake or something, I don't know, because the lap times are a little bit closer this time around. Kawakami at 2:02.2, Nebatani at 2:01.1. Nebatani, of course, on the softer compound of tyre compared to Kawakami, but that gap was over 10 seconds. It's now down to, what's that, 8.2.
Interestingly, on the same tyre, Miyazono is one of the fastest guys in the circuit on the medium compound tyre. It's still in that little gap right now, just gaining and gaining and gaining. So, gap coming down the front, down below 8 seconds for the first time in a while, as Nebatani starts to get the best out of that soft compound. And behind him, Yamanaka, incredibly fast, but still 3 seconds down the road. So, most drivers now on the medium compound tyre. We think we've seen the last stop from Miyazono, Benelli and Sato, with the rest of the field still owing. So keep an eye on these guys as the race progresses. Collision somewhere.
Yeah, Motto and Shiva colliding with one another. They've been pretty inseparable throughout the entirety of this race. Sadly, for the wrong reasons as well, because they're not in the point standings. And at the moment, they will be set to lose. At the moment, they will be set to lose their positions in the championship. We will have a new championship leader. Let's have another look and see what happened here between Mosso and Hashiba. So this is down what looks like the downhill straight in towards the right-hander. Hashiba closing the door. Mosso, for my money, was very firmly up the inside.
Yeah, I'd say they could turn in on there. A shame for Hashiba, but he was there. You can't just pretend he's not there though. So, we'll see what the stewards say. We have a bit of a running joke with the stewards. Like, will I agree with the stewards this time around? So,
if you're playing bingo at home, you can cross that one off.
Yeah, I know. It's that. What else do we have? The Subaru fast, straight line, rotary wankel. We've got some good ones.
Yeah, we certainly do. So we're coming towards the business end of this race, and this is where it's really going to begin to hot up, because we've got the strategies to come into play, and we've got drivers coming into the pit lane then at the end of lap 16. Kokuma and Suzuki coming in, so they are going off of the medium compound of tyre. They're going to be going on to the softs. Now they are going to have a lot of pace in the closing stages of this race. Miyazono's made his final stop, as you can see. He's on the medium tyres towards the end of this one. Hashima also in the pits after being in the wall a few corners ago. Gotto coming in for Chevrolet as well. So a flurry of activity in the pit lane here, and a smorgasbord of drivers that are going to be going on to some quick compounds of tyres, which could be proving to be a bit of an upset for some of the other drivers. I think the likes of Kawakami, Nabatani, Yamanaka, etc. They all owe the hard tyre at the end of this race.
Yeah, we've seen that track position doesn't really matter around here too much, because these straights are so long you can just draft by the guy in front of you. But now it'll be a fast finish for these guys. So Benelli, interestingly, behind this batch, as is Sato as well, on that hard compound. So for Sato, really, that's kind of his race over, and he's going to come back from that. But Kokuma, Suzuki, Goto and Hashima, who's been third down the field now, all on those soft compound tyres. Meanwhile, Miyazono has been quietly making moves there on that medium compound tyre. So we will keep an eye on him. He owes no more stops. Kawakami, our leader, does owe one more stop, and more importantly, owes the hard compound tyre, which you've seen is the slowest. So how many more laps can he get out of that medium? I think he's really burning through these tyres, Tom.
Certainly is, and he's got to try and eke them out for as long as he possibly can to not lose as much time, because you've got to find that right window, haven't you? But you don't want to sell the tyre for too long. and you want to have as much pace as you can whilst you're on it. So if you stay on it for too long, you'll be set to lose pace. Kawakami leading then on this one, owes the hard tyre, likewise Nematani and Yamanaka. Is he going to come into the pits at the end of lap 16? Not this time. Oh, he does. Late move into the pit lane there for Kawakami. That's all okay. He's going to go on the hard tyre then for the closing stage of this one. I'm looking at the likes of Sasaki, at Miyazono, at Cockburn, etc. All on the soft competitive tyres towards the end of this one. Because, well, Miyazono's not, in fact, he's already on the medium competitive tyre, but these drivers are going to be on quicker compounds compared to the top three at least.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to now see where they all line up. So in comes Kawakami, of course, our leader. Where is Miyazono in relation to this? This could have been a masterstroke by Takuma Miyazono. Kawakami comes out the pits. Where is Miyazono? Don't see him. I think he's just a bit. 5 seconds is the gap there. So that 5 seconds has sort of held for the entire race. But Kawakami is now on the slower tyre. It's going to take a while to get some heat into those Michelin hard tyres, and Miyazono already out there, already on some warm medium tyres. It's going to be a lot quicker on this first lap.
We've got 5 laps now remaining. It's about a second or so a lap, so it's going to be pretty close here for the podium with Kawakami and Miyazono. Let's keep an eye on that battle and see how it develops. The crucial thing is here, Nematani, Yamanaka, etc. Again, all owe those hard competitive tyres, and are they going to be possibly set to lose out on the podium in the closing stages of this one? Because they've still got a box, they're on the soft competitive tyres, and they're coming towards the end of their useful shelf life. Yamanaka's more worn than Nematani's at the moment, so Nematani may get an extra lap compared to the Toyota driver. We'll see how that's going to play out.
I think using my incredibly large tags, Yamanaka and Nematani are going to lose 20 odd seconds in the pits. Yeah, put them down to third and fourth position.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Miyazono is the real outlier.
Yeah,
because he's on the quicker compound tyre through the closing stage of this one. Don't count out the likes of Cockburn and Suzuki. I mean, it's going to take a fair old mission for them to challenge for the podium, but it's not out of the question. The soft tyre is just so much faster, and anything can happen here in these races.
But it is faster, but we've seen him really drop off towards the end of the stint. So even if you're quick now, you have to nurse it a little bit to get it home. Otherwise, you're going to end up just running out of tyre and not being able to fight anyone. So Miyazono goes down the straight. Nematani boxing. This will be a really good indicator to see where they are. Yamanaka opting to stay out a bit longer on that soft tyre.
That surprises me because Nematani had more tyre life left compared to Yamanaka.
It does. They're in different places. This is Yamanaka in that Toyota, more front biased, more tyre wear on the front right tyre, whereas Nematani in the mid-engined Honda NSX, a lot more tyre wear on the rears, which around here, especially over the top of the mountain, sketchy. So maybe a better idea to go onto the hard tyres now, more for safety.
I think Mike Miyazono liner here. He's going to breeze past Nematani shortly. There he goes, yeah, straight through off into the distance, and Nematani emerges in 4th position. Crucially though, you've got Cockburn and Suzuki on the soft tyre, not far away at all, so it could go from bad to worse here for Honda and for the Japanese driver. 2 other cars bearing down on him.
So at the moment, the real fight is between Miyazono and Kawakami at the front. You can see there, we're 3 seconds faster on that last lap, but that does include the outlap of Kawakami as well. So that is going to be a little bit inflated, but we'll see what his time is this time around. But that gap is 3.6 seconds. About 3.5 laps to go. Kawakami in the wall there. You can see he's really struggling. I think he's just not getting that heat into the tyres, and he knows he's under pressure as well, and that can really get to you from what you used to.
Well, this is really needing to hot up in the closing stages of this race. Nose to tail action here, and Nematani surely is going to be a bit of a sitting duck because Cockburn and Suzuki both on the soft top-padded tyre coming down through this section of circuit we go, and this is where it's one at a time, but down the Conroe Straight is where we could see, and probably will see, some moves being made, because I don't think Nematani, despite the fact that he's a very talented driver, on that slow compound, hard compound of tyre, he's going to be able to do anything to thwart the challenge of the Mazda and the BMW that sit in its wheel tracks then. So down the back straight of the Conroe Straight we go. Nematani pulls to the left at the side of the circuit, and Cockburn is surely going to be able to pull alongside him before too long. We go side by side, down the straight we go. Yamanaka's into the pit lane here. Cockburn is into 4th position, into the chase, and keep an eye out for the BMW of Suzuki as well, who's going to look for the outside line. Nematani's going to park the car on the apex and thwart Suzuki's charge for the time being, but will Suzuki have more room and more momentum on the outside? That is absolutely absolutely fantastic for Saya Suzuki of the BMW as he goes up into 5th position, and Nebatani drops down 2 places in the space of 2 corners.
Nothing you can do there, just drove clean around the outside of them. So great move there by Suzuki. Yamanaka into the box for his set of hard tyres, comes out in 4th place, right in the train as well. And there is Nabatani, just lost a place, who gained one back now from Yamanaka. And I think that's horrible for Yamanaka.
The positions are really important here because it's down to 6th place for the points. You want to get yourself as high up as you possibly can here for someone like Yamanaka. Miyazono is on the ragged edge of adhesion though. 3.3 seconds last time around to give you a bit of a flavour of how different the lap times are. Kawakami a 2:02.1, Miyazono a 2:01.6, about half a second or so quicker than the Lexus last time around was Miyazono. Cockerman even quicker than those two. I don't think Cockerman's going to be close enough. I think he'll be dead on for that 3rd place, but the win may be a stretch too far. It all depends on how these last few laps look for Kawakami in terms of the lap times. We've seen him a little bit under pressure. He glanced the wall last time around, and if the pressure starts to get to him, he starts making a couple of errors, that's where we could see Miyazono ready to take profit and ready to try and take the victory.
Half a second faster last lap is Miyazono. That's not enough though. It needs to be a bit faster than that to catch on to the back of Kawakami. You can see that in the same frame for the first time since the start of the race, and it's been a long way round for Miyazono, but Kawakami and Miyazono are still in the places that they started in. 1st and 2nd place right now, with Miyazono on the charge in the Subaru, but behind them is Ryota Kokuman. Now he only needs to be really within a second of Miyazono to start picking up that draft down the straight. The straights are so long here that could be enough for him to catch and then pass Miyazono in the Subaru. Let's get a look at the lap times as they come back through. Kawakami still not yet coming to the line, but it was a 2:02.1 last time around for Kawakami. To Miyazono's 2:01.6.
It's definitely less than that. It's got to be, surely Kawakami's got to be slower than Miyazono. Only by a couple of tenths of a second though. It's not much.
Same lap time.
Yeah, 2:02.1 for Kawakami, 2:01.9. So is Miyazono just off the gas a little bit? It's Cochran that's very firmly on it, and it's closing that gap down 2.7 seconds now to Miyazono.
But he's now under threat from Suzuki. I told you these guys wouldn't be as good friends at this point in the race. Kokuman is now starting to defend. Every point counts here. Kokuman going defensive into Griffin's corner there. Running Suzuki around the outside, who's going to drive it round the outside in the M6. He likes that, doesn't he? Suzuki up into P3 there. What a move from the BMW driver. Maybe he's the threat. He did a 2:03 last around 1.5 seconds faster than Miyazono in front, and nearly 2 seconds faster than Kawakami. He might still have a chance to win this.
2.5 seconds then is the deficit that he needs to make down to Takuma Miyazono there and thereabouts over the course of this lap. 2.5 laps to go in this race as well. Just remind you, points awarded for the top 6 finishers. If it stays as it is, we will have a new leader at the top of the pile because Porsche not scoring. Lexus possibly on for a podium finish here. This is Cockerman versus Suzuki. Cockerman tried to hold the inside line. Suzuki said thanks very much, and I'll go to the outside. Managed to just drive it through that right hand. Better traction on the outside of that corner, despite not being on the grippy part of the racetrack. He got himself up through into 3rd position. So down the Conrod straight we go. Kawakami 2.7 seconds. The gap kind of levelling off here, isn't it? I tell you what, Kawakami's race, if he does win it, that was won in the opening stint where he was able to just drive away from the rest of the field, do an Igor Fraga, as it were, clear off into the distance, and he's given himself that comfortable cushion for now.
Yeah, I think that there was a bit of a wobble mid-race to Kawakami, but he's sort of come back around now. I think now he knows that I don't think he can catch me. I think I'm good. He's just chilled out a bit there and is now just getting on with it. 202.5 from Kawakami to Miyazono's 202.1. That's enough. That is enough for him. But in the background, Suzuki and Kokuman still squabbling. They lost a bit of time to that fight last time on the last lap. Not quite as quick as they were before, but I think now, actually, Suzuki and Kokuman are going to be engrossed in their own fight and they're not going to go after Miyazono. Of course, most of these manufacturers, they do have points from the board. They're actually tied right now for points, BMW and Mazda in the standings. So whoever comes out on top there will move up. But this team, Team Subaru, currently for a non-score. So any points that Miyazono can get, the most he needs to basically stay where he is. He can't afford to lose anything. But Kawakami and Lexus, this is perfect. Porsche are not going to score. They're in P10. But Kawakami and Lexus are going to take 4 points and rocket them to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Lexus could be set to be going into the World Finals in Amsterdam at the start of December. Cockburn and Suzuki under investigation for a collision as well. Has there been something off screen that we haven't seen? You can just see Kawakami. You can just see Kawakami into the distance, and Miyazono, well, he's there and thereabouts, but he's not quite close enough. Let's have another look here. Suzuki versus Cockburn. So this time around. Oh, they had contact going into Griffiths, and Cockburn got sent into the wall there on the outside. It was only a half a sort of wheel of contact really going into there. Not much at all, but the slightest of touches when you're on the limit like these drivers are, and it can cost you very dearly indeed. And speaking of costing very dearly, Suzuki still just 2.1 seconds behind Miyazono. Down the Comrade straight we go with the BMW driver Saya Suzuki. BMW currently 5th in the standings coming into this one, tied on points with Mazda, so they'll be getting the better of them not only in the race but also in terms of the points finishes in this one as well. Just to remind you, 6 points awarded for the victory, all the way down to 1 point for 6th place. So Toyota will be the last of the point scorers as it stands for now.
Miyazono's got to say, Suzuki has really upped the pace there on that last lap. They're coming to the final lap here in the Manufacturers' Cup in Tokyo. Mount Panorama is your circuit, and we're on board with 3rd place. BMW, Suzuki at the wheel, the fastest man on track at the moment. He is bearing down on Takuma Miyazono. 1.7 seconds is the gap right now. We've got 2 big straights here, which is going to be a big disadvantage to that Subaru. Can Miyazono hold on over the top of the mountain?
Well, let's see what happens here with Suzuki versus Miyazono. Surely it's going to be in the twisty stuff going into the Colgrove straight where he'll be able to gain that time, Suzuki, over Miyazono. But we know also that Subaru, conversely, is really handy in the twisty bits. You can see him, though, in front, dangling that carrot for Saya Suzuki at the moment. And half a lap left in this one to decide 2nd and 3rd in this race. It is not over. Suzuki right up against the wall. He is leaving nothing on the table in the closing stages of this race here. But I wonder if it's just going to be a chance that will come a little bit too late. Down in towards this section we go. This is where Suzuki will be gaining time on that soft tyre compared to Miyazono. Down through into the Forest Elbow section, and then on towards the Comrade straight. Kawakami has driven an absolute blinder, by the way. He's managed to keep that gap pretty constant at 2 seconds in the closing stages of this one. The gap now down to 1.9 seconds. It's close for Miyazono and Suzuki, but it's not quite close enough for Suzuki to be in the slipstream of the Subaru driver. So, down the Comrade straight we go for the final time, and this has been a quite brilliant race for Lexus and for Kawakami. He managed to get into the lead of this one at the start of it from being on pole position, drove away from the rest of the field on the soft compound of tyre, built up a gap of 5 seconds, doubled that to 10 seconds when all the pit stops worked out, and after Lexus took victory in the opening round of the Gran Turismo World Series in Montreal, they will take their 2nd victory of the season as Kanata Kawakami wins for Lexus in Gran Turismo World Series 3 here in Tokyo in the Manufacturers' Cup. It's Lexus who spearhead themselves to the top of the tables, ahead of Takuma Miyazono for Subaru in 2nd, and Saya Suzuki on the podium for BMW in 3rd place. Fantastic race there. What a drive from Kanata Kawakami. That was absolutely textbook.
You can tell that he is sweating. He felt the pressure on that one. But as you say, Tom, that couldn't have gone any better for Team Lexus. We had Igor Fraga here of his...